up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. Be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there. The channel keeps growing, and we want to keep bringing you guys interviews from the heroes in the game, man. So please subscribe, like, and share our content. Spread that word so we can keep coming to you guys as often as possible. Today, we have the honor and privilege of being joined by somebody I've been listening to for many moons, and I haven't interviewed in a while, so I'm glad to get back in touch with him. Big Mike, thanks for coming through, man.
Thank you for having me, Soren. Really appreciate it, brother.
Yeah. It's been a minute, so I'm glad we're back in touch. Big Mike has the new album, Finish the Job, that just came out. So if you guys haven't heard it yet, be sure to pick it up. It's got a lot of great material on there. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to start with that and then get into some of the iconic stuff that Big Mike's done over the years. So, Big Mike, for the new album, Finish the Job, break down what the title, what that means to you.
Well, the motivation behind the title, I guess the last time we had spoken, right, for the Hard to Hit interview, I had got locked up after that, right? Got into a little situation, but wound up having to do some time. So my career was the growth of my career was stunning at that point, right? So once I did my bid, came home, it wasn't like, when other rappers had went to jail, they came back home to a lot of fanfare, right? And they had that audience already waiting for them, right? And but it didn't fall like that for me, right? So I had to really get out there again and toe the line. So I'm trying to juggle, getting back into the flow of living, right? Reestablishing and mending relationships again, and just living life all together at the same time, searching for myself musically, you know what I mean? Again, and where I fit and things like that. So during the course of the, living, I was able to do that, find my purpose. And when I got my identified my purpose, it allowed me to excel again when it came to my music, right? To where I felt comfortable getting in the studio and releasing the full-fledged Big Mike album. So Finish the Job to me is completing that, picking up, right? Where my growth was stunted, right? And taking it from there and placing it where it should be. Yeah. So in a sense, I'm finishing the job that I had started, right? That was abruptly interrupted by a lot of drama, you know what I mean? But I'm still here, so I'm thankful, and able to be doing my thing. Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah, well, the thing is, as you rapped about basically since the Convicts till today, including the new album, Finish the Job, there's always the struggle, overcoming the struggle, dealing with the struggle. That's part of life. We're going to have ups and downs. So the important thing is what we do once we experience them and what our next moves are. So congratulations for, coming back and not retiring.
Hey, thank you for that. Yeah. The drive, the fire was still in me. I just had to find a way to channel it, right? And be able to speak in terms that I'm comfortable with, right? As a grown man now, you dig what I'm saying? And to be able to speak to other grown people, you know what I mean? Through this art of hip hop, because the way it looks now, it seems like it's just a young art form. The audience is just young, but really it's, it's a lot of seasoned listeners and, and followers of the craft, and who support the art, and they just haven't been able to be fed yet, right? So I wanna fill that slot, you know what I mean, and feed those folks, those older hip hop loving heads.
Yeah, well, to that point, ties nicely into one of my favorite songs off of Finish the Job, which is Appreciate You, because that one, I really like the fact that you're talking about, showing love for people while they're here. And it has that, very soulful music that I think is a hallmark of really starting with your solo career was something serious. You got that, the gumbo funk soul type of thing. So for Appreciate You, lyrically, why did you end up looking at things from that way of appreciating people while they're here?
Ah, man, when you're young, right? You just zooming through life. You know what I mean? So you run in and out of relationships, you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't even recognize the people that's there in front of you helping you. You know what I mean? So of course when we get older, right? And we're responsible for others, right? And we want to feel appreciated, right? When it comes to our kids and everything, you know what I mean? Right? So you have to I say, you know what, man? These kids, they're not gonna know it unless we put it out there, right? Showing them, a proper setting and where you're being grateful and you're thankful for people looking out for you. It don't have to be such a savage world. You dig what I'm saying? And I just wanted to do something that was wholesome, right? Something that felt good, and something that would that would heal people, right? So we got to start, a big part of healing is coming together and appreciating each other. You dig what I'm saying? And not overlooking the small things that people may be doing for you behind the scenes, right? Because it's a lot going on in each of our lives, you know what I'm saying, that we're able to make it through the day. And it's a force that's carrying us through behind the scenes that we don't even recognize sometimes. So let's at least, you know what I'm saying, give it up to what we can see and what we can recognize, you know what I mean? And put that vibe out there, man, about being appreciative. You feel me?
Yeah. And on Appreciate You, the other thing I thought was amazing about it was that one you have like a slower flow, but it's super precise and like right in the pocket, like phenomenally. So, and that's something that's also been a hallmark of your career, your different flows, your different styles based on the music, the subject matter, what have you. So why do you think that still today, we don't see the South or people from Louisiana, New Orleans getting the respect for being like supreme lyricists, supreme stylistically?
And it shouldn't be like that because it's a lot of superb lyricists, right? That's from the South. A lot of them. So many I can't even I can't even begin to count right now. And but I don't know. They, I traveled a lot of places early in my career, right? And I had got the vibe, right, from the East Coast, from the West Coast, that they look at the South like we was a little bit slower, right? And then you feel me? So we have that stigma to have to deal with. And a lot of stuff that was coming out the South was a lot of party music, right? You know what I'm saying? From Luke Skywalker and the Two Live Crew. I think, things changed. You had a lot of dance music coming out the South, but things changed, once the Ghetto Boys was established, right? It got a little bit more serious. You did what I'm saying? And then once I came into the game, came into the fold, I kind of like toned it down and put it more on the street level, you know what I'm saying, what's happening now. But I just think it's that stigma, bro. I just think it's that stigma of being down from the South and people perceiving people from the South to be a little bit slower. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's our Southern drawl or whatnot, right? But definitely, when it comes to the music, so I don't know. A lot of people, they give it up for artists from the South. And I don't really run into that too much, you know what I mean? But I assume that it might be that bias that's still out there, but definitely at this point it's unwarranted.
Absolutely. Because I just remember the first two people that I really, really gravitated from New Orleans was you and Bust Down, even though he's from Herrero. But
right.
And you guys were like totally different styles, but that was an early example to me of the diversity and the brilliance that could come in different ways from the same city that wasn't New York, that wasn't Los Angeles, that even wasn't, what we saw, like you said, from Miami. And it was right there in New Orleans. So right away,
shout out to Bust Down, man. For real. Shout out to Bust Down. Bust Down was really crafty with his rhymes. You know what I mean? And comedic as well. You dig what I'm saying? But shout out to Bust Down. I'm glad that you brought him up. That's real.
Yeah, man. He just is so underrated, I thought, and was early in the game too. But that's probably why it was underrated. Now another track on "Finish the Job" that I really liked was the Blazing one, and that one has a lot of blues sonically, in my opinion, or a bluesy feel at least. So that's something that I think obviously a lot of the Rap-A-Lot artists have done. I'd say you and Devin and Scarface probably are the best of it, at least to Rap-A-Lot. And then of course 8-Ball and MJG and others have done it very well. So what do you think rapping over that type of sonic element brings that's a little bit different than what we normally hear from rap?
Oh man, that's in my DNA. Being from the South, being from New Orleans, the you know what I'm saying, the birthplace of modern Black music, right? And American music on the whole, right? So it just speaks to me, right? The music, when I hear that, we grow up listening to blues, listening to our moms and grandparents, right? Partying and, you know what I'm saying, listening to these songs. So the vibe and the feel of the music is so familiar to us, right? And I think that's what gave Rap-A-Lot its own identity, right? Instead of just having a camp full of rappers, it was our Southern sound, right? So we drew heavy on that. And yeah, it just felt good to me. It was right in pocket. It was in my zone, in my arena, and I felt like I flourished well there. And you know, you could tell by how the lyrics flow. You know what I mean? If I was one with the track. So that was definitely one of the tracks that I had became one with. I hate to say that because I had with all of them, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, that was definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's funny because most of my favorites from Finish the Job are in the middle. So
Right.
it's just interesting how that worked out. Another one is the one right after that, the Mud on My Jeans. And
Right.
the thing that's interesting to me about that is being with Rap-A-Lot, even though I listened and I knew you were from New Orleans, I think a lot of people thought you were from Houston, assumed you were from Houston or whatever because the label. Yeah. And that song you're really addressing about New Orleans and Superdome and all this type of stuff. So what the perception of being on a Houston label and being from Louisiana for the early part of your career, how do you think that affected how people looked at you, if at all?
I tell you, it was a double-edged sword, right? Because for just as many people that know me, love me, and say that they raised me in New Orleans, the same amount of people can boast that in Houston, right? Because I was raised in New Orleans from an infant up until the age of 13. At the age of 13, I went to Houston to live with my grandparents, right? So I spent, you know, my junior high school years, my high school years, and my young adulthood right there in Houston. Couple that with going back and forth to New Orleans for the summer, right? And for the holidays, right? And things like that. So I am from Houston, right? Right? I just happen to be a dual city representative. That's what I say. I'm from both places, right? But once I, you know, got on the label, and I mentioned, you know what I'm saying, that I was from born in New Orleans, originally from New Orleans, right? It was kind of like, you had people in New Orleans that was like, he from Houston. You dig what I'm saying? He's repping Houston. Then you have people in, you know, in Houston that'll be like, he from Rap-A-Lot. I mean, he's from New Orleans. You dig what I'm saying? This and that. So, but people who know me, knew me. They know me. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, right, you know, it didn't hold the progress of my career, right, and where the music was going and things like that. But yeah, I had to deal with that bias. You know what I mean? He Houston, but he not really from Houston. He from New Orleans. You feel me? He born in New Orleans, but he was raised in Houston, right? So you have to deal with that a little bit. But as time is going on, I think both really, you know what I'm saying, have come to appreciate, right, what I do and my representation of both cities.
Be sure to check out The History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on your MTV Back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.